welcome Solex Nation. We have just a couple of announcements, not very many at all. The first one is we have a new tracking sheet for the incentive trip to Punta Cana.
Yes. So if you're on that, what are they called? A bunch of accountability groups we have out there.
Yes, people are making accountability groups for going to Punta Cana. We love to see it.
But even if you're not on an accountability group and you just are tracking on your own, there's a sheet there that you can kind of just fill in all the boxes, right? And you fill in all the boxes that shows you how to get to the trip. It also has some of the fine print, not a lot of it, just a little bit, just to make sure we have some of those. And if there's more FAQs, we'll add that to the document as we need to. But it's there. Documents and media in your back office.
Yes, and we'll actually talk about it more on a future call and just give some more information and help you know how to navigate tracking for that Punta Cana trip.
Perfect.
All right, we have a license plate this week. Now, this is a special license plate.
Of course it is.
And they're always special. They're all special. But this one is the second license plate for this household. So this is Paige Wheeler.
And I am partial to this one.
It says, well, actually, I'm more partial than you are. You want to know why? This says Solex 1. And I'm the only one I know right now that has a Solex 1 plate. And so, yay, Paige, we match.
We're not making another group. There's the AL Scan group and there's the Solex group.
I don't know. We could have a Solex 1 group.
Oh, great.
So Paige,
Lauren,
last year,
Lauren's
going to lose.
We're going to lose.
He doesn't care. Last year, Paige got an iSolex plate, which you loved that one, iSolex. Yep. And so now this year, another car of hers has Solex 1. So we love to see it.
Welcome to the Solex Club.
Yep, and we're going to send you another Solex silver coin. So good job, Paige.
Yeah, what a commitment. I love that. That's awesome.
All right, we had a contest last week. We talked about Prime last week.
Yes.
We love how much you love Prime. We're really excited with your excitement.
Yeah.
And so it was fun to read all your comments about how you could use Prime in your life or in your business. And so what are we giving away?
Oh, we're going to give away Prime.
Yeah, we are.
Of course.
That's right. You know. It'd be silly not to.
Yes.
All right, so let's...
I always go first, so you get to go first.
Okay. It's exciting.
Yeah. All right. All right. They get mad at you if you don't pick them.
This is Lucy Chapin. I love all the Solex supplements. I think it's awesome there are no fillers, just pure ingredients. My body likes it as well as I have them scanned into my device. I agree with Kai and Shelby that by giving my body the best, it will be able to help me be my best. Thank you, Solex. I've shared samples with others and with my downline so they can scan into their scanners and see that their bodies also want Prime.
Oh, I love that.
I love that too.
That is, I mean, especially valuable to me because the craft and the no fillers was so important to what we were doing. All right, number 2. Jan Houghton. I believe Prime will reduce oxidative stress, which is the cause of hundreds of disease and will help with cellular regeneration. You're exactly right, Jan. It's spot on, and that is right. The bullseye of why Prime was made was this oxidative stress environment and all that does to harm us, even though...
And how we can equip ourselves to battle it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
good job.
Great comment. All right, last one. I'm gonna mix them all up. All right, ready?
Okay.
Have a bunch. Hold on, I gotta grab one.
Don't look.
I'm not looking. Nancy Banks.
Nancy?
For some people, this product Prime can be life-changing on a cellular level that begins to restore them back to health. For others that may not be health challenged, it can keep the cells healthy and will keep things working at an optimal level. It has what we need to feed the cells to be healthy, and so it benefits everyone on so many different levels. And no fillers. How awesome is that? Just love this product and I'm excited to have so much in one product. Keep doing the awesome job you're doing for us. Kai, you said it tonight. We are problem solvers and that is what life is all about, helping others and solving problems. Yay.
Yay. Yeah,
congrats, Nancy.
We all are. Nancy, I can see you right now with your heart colored glasses on that we saw at Dave Discovery. Do you remember
awesome.
those?
I do.
Those are amazing.
Yes.
We need to make a pair of those.
Yes. So congrats to all 3 of you. We will send your Prime out tomorrow.
Okay.
Should we talk about Top Enrollers?
Top Enrollers. Of course, we have a massive tie.
We have a huge tie. So this is September 12th through the 18th. Okay. How many tied for second? Do you know?
Oh, I don't.
I know what it is. It's 8.
8.
8 people tied for second place. All right. So the first one is Stephen Keller.
And then Carlene Roberts.
Deborah Carlson.
Nancy Banks. We just talked about her. Again.
Amy Alt.
Joanne Denning.
John and Maria Velasquez.
And Angelique Guidi.
Yes, we have been saying your name wrong.
Angelique, I'm so sorry.
I am too. But now we know.
Yeah,
At
now
Dave
we know.
Discovery, you told us how to say it. Anyway, congratulations, all 8 of you. You tied for second place.
Yeah, a lot of work.
That's a lot of work.
And took advantage of the 49
That's
cent
right.
enrollment. I mean, they were in there and sharing with people. A lot of people did that.
Yeah.
But then we only have one
We
first
have
place.
one first place.
Okay.
Ronnie Spresser.
Congratulations, Ronnie. You are now part of the Legacy Group. If
Yes.
you weren't already, we're going to send out your silver coin.
We will.
And it's yours.
All right, so we have had a lot of requests to show what happened at Dave Discovery. And while we haven't put the whole Dave Discovery out, we are going to show bits and pieces over the next couple of months. And so this one has been highly requested, and so we
Yes.
decided to show it now. We are going to welcome Becky Coots Kimbley to the call.
So welcome, I'm so glad to be here. I'm so glad to be able to meet all of you. Some people I'm only meeting for the very first time for the last 2 years because of COVID. So I have a lot to talk about. I'm gonna try to do as much as I can in the short amount of time that I have. But I want to bring you up to where I'm at now. But in order for me to do that, I need to take you back a couple years so you can kind of see like where I've come from. In 1998, I know that's a long time, but I'll go fast. I was in 2 car accidents and had 2 rear-end collisions and had some pretty bad neck damage. That same year, I had left my ex-fiance, who was very abusive verbally and physically. I had a couple of deaths in the family. I was finishing college, getting ready to take my state boards in physical therapy, and getting ready to start my first professional job out of college. So it was a lot. There was a lot of transitions. That's when I started getting sick. And I started noticing that there was something just not right with my system. Sleeping a lot. I was sleeping in between patients, sleeping 14 to 16 hours a day. About the time I met my now husband, I had clumps of hair falling out, like every day. And I knew something was going on, but I just wasn't really sure what it was. So I went to the doctor, went to the endocrinologist. Everyone's like, oh, you have Hashimoto's, take some Synthroid, you'll be fine. That could have been further from the truth. Years goes by, I get sicker and sicker. I started getting anxiety, panic, depression, gut issues, neurological issues. I had adrenal fatigue, I had POTS. The list just goes on. And I was still working in the healthcare field, thought I was doing everything the right way that I was supposed to, and yet was still getting sicker. Still trying to work out, still trying to eat healthy, but no matter what I did, I was just getting sick. Flash forward to about 2016. I was in something called BNI, which if you don't know what that is Business Networking International, where you learn your 30-second elevator speech, which is bringing back memories, obviously, of me standing up here today because I hate public speaking. But anyway, here I am. In BNI, I was sitting next to my functional medicine practitioner, but I didn't know it at that time. So we sat together for probably, 8 or 9 months. And every week we met, he would always talk about reversing type 2 diabetes. The one weekend, however, or the one week, he was like, I can reverse autoimmune disease, specifically Hashimoto's. And I remember turning to him and thinking, what? Like, that's what I have. This is news to me. How do you reverse this? I said, tell me. So I finally make an appointment with him. I go in and get all this testing done. And I'll never forget the day my husband and I walked into his office, and I literally broke down in tears crying when we found out the whole time that I've been sick, I had chronic Lyme disease that left me sick. I was tested 3 times for Lyme. All 3 times came back negative. I was really mad. I was very mad at conventional medicine and how I was treated or mistreated and how I was able to get this far. In 2016, I signed up with his program. I did a 6-month gut healing program. And within 6 months, every one of my symptoms went away. Every one of them that I've had for God knows how many years. It was like I had my life back. My brain was turned back on. My functional medicine doctor later became a really close friend of mine and eventually became my mentor before he passed away suddenly in April and left a huge hole in my heart. He literally has taught me everything that I know. I'm sorry, I'm gonna cry again. Anyway, he was 53 years old and died of a massive aneurysm, unexpectedly. He had COVID twice, and the second time he struggled with COVID. So he is the reason why I am so passionate with what I'm doing right now. He is the reason why I went back to school to get my PhD at Quantum University. He is the reason why I do frequency medicine, because frequency medicine was the only thing that helped me. So after 2016, I went back into competing into CrossFit, and things were good for a couple years. I was in their maintenance phase until 2019. In 2019, I was training about 2 hours a day, 4 to 5 days a week. My ultimate life goal was to get into the top 200 in the CrossFit Games, which I accomplished, but it affected my health. In 2019, I was getting ready to compete in the second stage with the CrossFit Games, and again, I got sick again. I started with fatigue, brain fog, joint back pain, you name it. Get labs done, thyroid's all out of whack, Lyme's back again. And then we had COVID. COVID hit us, which then I got COVID in, December of 2020. So me being a massage therapist at that time, I couldn't work because COVID shut my practice down for about 6 months. It was during that time that I met Nadia Lutz in a Lyme group, and she had given me a free scan. And in the meantime, I was already researching frequency devices. I almost bought a GB4000. I know they're expensive, but I wanted something to have at home that I could use on myself. So Nadia scanned me, and I'll never forget the day because, again, I had this brain fog that I just could not shake. The day she scanned me was the day my brain fog went away and never came back. At that point, I didn't care how much this thing was. I just wanted it. And I remember talking to her, and I was just like, I want this thing. Like, what is it? I don't care how much it is. And I laughed when she told me how much it was because I was like, why is it so cheap? So anyway, I got the device, started working on myself. That's how I pulled myself out of my second Lyme flare. And in the meantime then, I had finished up my functional medicine certification and then was like, I need to really figure out a way that I can pivot my practice because I was still doing functional neurology and like neuro body work. And really I couldn't touch anybody for 6 months because of COVID. So I was looking for other ways to create income. So the scanner was one. The scanner pivoted my whole entire practice. Now I actually finished my traditional naturopathy certification. And so now I'm working with people all over the world. I'm providing educational content in a lot of my Facebook groups for the AO scan. I'm doing mentoring sessions with people all over the world. So it's completely opened up how I run my practice these days, and has given me the benefit of being able to work with anyone from anywhere in the world, which is probably the best thing right now. So that's how I came across the scanner. Again, thank you for Nadia, wherever you are. Before I get into my PowerPoint slides, I do want to say one other thing. The way that I look at people's reports is probably very unique in that I utilize something called DNA, which is Dynamic Neuromuscular Assessment. It is a form of functional neurology. It is something that I teach. I'm actually teaching in Philadelphia in September. But what it is a template. So it's a template that not only I can use in my office when I do functional neurology, but also when I'm reading people's scans, because that template is we look for primaries and secondaries, we look for tertiaries, which is the low-hanging fruit, so to say, and then we look to see what is a priority, and then if it's safe to be cleared. So as I'm looking through people's scans or doing emotional work, these are the principles that I'm thinking about as I'm working through someone's scan. It kind of gives me a guideline as to what I need to do with that client. So in the last 2 years, I've been looking at a lot of lab reports, x-rays. I have CT scans, but I did not put them in here. And it's been very interesting what I find with the scanner. A lot of times when people message me or they're doing mentorship, I'm doing a mentorship call with them, I think people are just getting so wrapped up in, number one, trying to read every individual line item on the scanner, which is literally impossible. When it comes to vitamins and minerals, and I hear this all the time, do I need to take this mineral? Do I not need to take this mineral? Is it too much of this or not enough? And the thing that I say is, it all depends on how you interpret it, because there's many different ways that you can interpret it. And that's what I'm going to show you with the case studies. So this report right here was actually one of my girlfriends who was in the ER. So she sent me her lab work, which you can tell by this, the platelets are super duper low. She actually was in the hospital and they found out she had mono and Epstein-Barr. On the scanner, however, it came up as a double red 9. So again, we know 9s are acute or too much energy, because again, we are dealing with energy, especially when we're talking about hormones, vitamins, minerals. It's the energy that we're looking at. So in this case, her double red 9s actually meant an acute deficiency, meaning that her platelets were low. Now again, I've read through, I don't know how many different scans. Every scan is going to be a little different and a little unique based on how you're interpreting. Sometimes those double red 9s could be, yes, there is too much energy, or there is too much of something, or it is acute. It can also mean that there's an acute deficiency. I've also seen, especially with vitamins and minerals, that it could be an absorption issue. So maybe your body's just not absorbing that. It could be the brand of supplement that you're taking is just not something that your body wants or likes. And it also could be a delivery issue. So sometimes with my clients, I've noticed if we just change the vitamin D from a liquid to a pill or a powder, all of a sudden those numbers are going to shift and change. So those are things you're going to start noticing over the time as you start scanning people. Same thing with this one. The C-reactive protein, which is an inflammatory marker, was a 9 on the vitals, and it was also high on labs. So now we have high on labs and that 9, okay? We also see that albumin was an 8 on the AO, but it was low on labs, okay? So now you can start to see how just because something's an 8 or a 9 doesn't always mean it's going to be too high or too much of something. There could be an interpretation of there could be an acute deficiency. In this lab, we have the thyroid stimulating hormone, or TSH, which was a 9 on the AO, was also reflected in the lab work as being high as well. So in this case, 9 was too much energy. Now, I already talked about DNA and how I do functional neurology. When I use this device in my practice, I use this device on everybody for everything. It's part of my treatment. In this case, we had someone come in with left hip pain. The left psoas, or hip flexor, and the left glute med was a 9. So in muscle testing world, 9, or hypertonic basically means the nervous system is upregulated or aggravated or too tight. So that's where we get the term hypertonic. Hypotonic in the functional neurology world is weak, or the nervous system is just down-regulated. So there was a relationship using the DNA template that I talked to you about the structural pain and the diaphragm being hypotonic, or a 1 that was reflected on the AO scan. Using the DNA template, because we look at structural, physiological, and limbic. Those are the 3 correlations why people have issues. Again, through using the template, we were able to establish that this was a structural problem. It came from the right SI joint ligament and the right sacrotuberous ligament, which on the bottom you can see represented a 9 and a 1. So my treatment was actually the pairing of the right SI joint ligament and the right sacrotuberous ligament. So one was hypertonic, one was hypotonic. I worked on that area a little bit, did some, we call it PDTR, and then I retested the left hip, retested the diaphragm, and then everything was normal. So that was that patient's treatment. Again, I used muscle testing, but also used the scanner to alert me what was going on. Again, since I've been using this for 2 years now, I pretty much use the scanner for everything and then kind of muscle test to kind of make sure that I'm on the right track. You know, sometimes I feel like it's a game because I want to see if the scanner doesn't pick up something, but it's always picking up something. And it's always usually picking up something that I might have missed even with muscle testing. In this lab work, we have glucose, which was high on lab work at 116, unless my vision's getting bad. And then it represented a 9 on the AO. So you can see insulin secretion was a 9 and blood glucose was a 9. So in this case, the 9 was too much energy or acute. Same with this one, we have cholesterol. Cholesterol was high. It was 228 on the labs. Again, AO reflected that it was a 9, so again, acute or too much energy. LDL was 153, which was high on labs, and a 9 on the AO. And then same thing with the HDL, was 175, which is high on labs, and then again, 9 on the AO. Now I know people have always asked me, are you always getting these scans done when you're getting the lab work done? And the answer is no. The first slide that I showed you, that was probably the only one that I have lab work the same day as the AO. A lot of these others, I'm scanning and then maybe labs are being done 2 or 3 weeks before or 2 or 3 weeks after. So it's interesting to me that the numbers are still matching on the labs, which is what's showing up on the AO. This was a really cool case study. So I had I think he was 14 or 15, baseball player who slid into home base. And if you know anything about baseball and how people slide, his knee aggressively contacted the plate. That created a jar in his lumbar spine. The thing that's disappointing to me was this poor kid has been through physical therapy, massage therapy, chiropractic for about 6 months and was 0 better. He was still having sharp pain in one pinpoint particular area at the L4, L5 junction in the spine, so the lower back. His mom brings him in thinking, what else are we gonna do? I'm like, let me just scan him and see what comes up. I suspect there might be a stress fracture. I didn't say that to her. But that's what I'm thinking in my mind, just based on his symptoms, his complaints, and what I saw with orthopedic testing. So I scan, and as you can see here, the lumbar disc at L5 was a 9. So again, high, acute, too much energy. So I knew something was going on. This was the comprehensive scan. All I picked was, I think, skeleton or connective tissue or something, I don't remember now. Lumbar vertebrae at L4, again, was an AO. On the AO was a 9. So I already knew something was going on. I knew with orthopedic testing something was going on. There were quite a few red flags that were showing up. So I said to his mom, I said, hey, I think you need to go back to your family doctor and request an x-ray because, of course, none has not been done in the 6 months that this poor kid's been in pain. So they go get an x-ray 3 weeks later, confirmed pars fracture, which is what I suspected the whole entire time. So what I did, we changed his diet. I began some isometric strengthening of the core and the glutes. We utilized frequency devices, frequency patches. I had laser. I was running bone stimulation frequencies in the AO scanner. And 6 months later, he had a repeat x-ray and he was already healed, which was crazy because most bones don't heal in 6 weeks. So that was a really cool case study. Here's another one. We have TSH and vitamin D. Again, you can see on the top one, the TSH was a 1 on the AO. TSH was an 8.2 on labs, which again was elevated, but this is a chronic issue for this person. So again, the 1 represented more of a chronic issue in this case. Vitamin D in the last one was a 9 on the AO. Now this is interesting because I get a lot of questions when especially vitamins and minerals come up, but I'll talk about that in a second. The vitamin D was elevated on lab work. It was 124. So in this case, it was reflecting that it was too much. Some interesting things that I have found with vitamins and minerals, especially when using the supplements and therapies category, which again, I think is the most underutilized part of the device. If you do supplements and therapies, it really is going to enlighten you as to what you're seeing in your vital scan. So let me give you an example. A couple weeks ago, I had NRF1 to NAD, and I think glutathione come up on me, which doesn't come up on me very often anymore. So I thought, well, that's weird. Why do I need to take this all of a sudden? So I go back into my vital scan and looked at the liver and gallbladder, and gosh darn it, if there wasn't some stuff that was coming up. So it just alerted me that, hey, I probably need to look at either where I was, what I was putting on me, or if my liver needed to be detoxed. So again, I wouldn't have known that though, because I just kind of glanced through my vital scan, but then saw what needed to be taken in the supplements and therapies category. The other thing, I'll tell you this side story, because I have thyroid issues, obviously. I've always taken kelp for the longest time. All of a sudden, 6 months ago, my scanner was telling me I needed iodine. And I kind of waited 1 or 2 months because one day iodine would be a 9, one day iodine would be a 9, then it'd be a double 9, a double 1, like it was all over the place. The point being, within 2 months, I was like, okay, iodine keeps coming up every day. I probably need to look at it. So I look at iodine, think, well, I probably need to start taking it. Didn't want to buy anything though because I didn't know what I needed. So I put iodine, just plain old iodine, in the scanner without scanning it in and hit save. When I was doing my quick scans and easy scans every day, I started noticing the scanners telling me I need iodine. I'm like, okay, great, I'll go buy some iodine. So there's all different types of iodine out there. I wasn't sure what to get, so I bought 3 different kinds and 3 different deliveries. Put them all in the scanner in supplements and therapies, this time scan them in. Then I started noticing my body was only asking for one type of iodine, so that's what I started taking. So I started this whole iodine loading protocol, and I thought, this is great. I finally have like tons of more energy. But then I was like, well, how do I know if I'm taking enough? Because again, iodine's still showing up as a 9 for me. So I go back into my scanner in supplements and therapies, and I actually put in 25 milligrams, 50 milligrams, 75 milligrams, and 100 milligrams of the specific iodine that I was taking. Well, then I started noticing every day my body either wanted 75 milligrams or 100 milligrams of iodine, so that's what I started taking. So flash forward to 6 months now. It takes about 6 months to a year for your thyroid to get fully saturated with iodine. I am about where my maintenance dose is going to be, so now I'm noticing that I'm only needing 50 milligrams a day because that's what the scanner is telling me. And I'm not noticing so many reds coming out of the iodine section. So again, I think personally the supplements and therapies category is the most underutilized, that you could use more to see what's going on in your vital scan. If you want to follow me, which I know a lot of people already are, and you don't have to, but I do have a website with, again, tons of information on the AO scan. I do free inner voice scans if anyone wants to have one, get used to the device. I have a Facebook page. Unfortunately, I only have room for 5,000 people, which I've already hit, but you can still follow me. And I also have a Facebook group called Quantum Wellness Solutions, which apparently has become mentoring for everybody who's not even in my downline. And then I have my Instagram account too. And then this is Chloe. Most people know Chloe and not me, especially when I'm out and about. Chloe comes to work with me. Chloe comes to the CrossFit gym with me, and Chloe loves all of the frequency devices. And this is a picture of her in my office, and I'm playing stuffies for her. And, you know, dogs don't lie, dogs know. Dogs know when they need these energies and frequencies, and when she's had enough, she gets up off the table and goes about her way. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. I really appreciate it.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to give everybody an update on a part of your business that maybe you haven't delved into very much. It's a part that I think is proving to be actually pretty valuable based on the data we're collecting back. And so I thought it'd be valuable to go through a few scenarios with you regarding the Alpha3 pass. Now, we've issued a couple thousand Alpha3 passes since they've launched. And so we have quite a bit of data out there from people trying to issue those, the acceptance, and then what actually happens when they gone to the trouble of issuing Alpha3 passes. So let me throw a scenario out based on the data that we have here on the collective use of Alpha3 passes. If you were to start in month 1, and this was your very first month at Solex or your first month using Alpha3 passes as a strategy, you'd spend $125 on a normal month to get a 6-pack. Well, what would happen with that? Well, the goal is to obviously extend invitations to 6 people to have the 3-day pass experience with the AO scan technology. What we're finding is that if you extended invitations to all 6 people, that you'll have 4 people accept and actually make use of the pass. That means that 2 are going to go back to you, because remember, you never lose an Alpha3 pass that doesn't get accepted. They go back into your bank of Alpha3 passes. So again, our scenario, 6 issued, 4 accepted, 2 back in the bank to use. Of those 4 issued, how many actually convert to a subscription, to purchasing the AO scan technology and joining Solex? Well, what we found is about 1 out of every 4, roughly, is the average. What does that mean? Well, the average purchase price of a new enrollment, the commission for that, is $293 for you. So, back to our scenario, issue 6 passes, 4 people accept, 2 go back in the bank, 1 person actually signs up and joins your team. You get $293 back, or more than that actually, in your bank account from the commissions, from that commissionable month. Well, that covered the cost of the Alpha3 6-pack. Well, what do you do in month 2? Well, month 2, you buy another set, $125. You got another 6 plus the 2 that you banked. So now you're sitting here with 8. Well, the goal in month 2 is to issue all 8. Go find 8 people that would like to try it out for 3 days. Of the 8 people that you issue, 5 will accept, meaning they'll make use. They'll sign in and they'll start using this scanning technology. Of those 5 people, again, based on the averages, 1 will convert. So in month 2, like with month 1, 1 converts. Well, if the averages stay the same, that's over a $293 commission back to you. Again, covering the cost of the Alpha3 6-pack, plus giving you money in your pocket. Okay, now in month 3, things really start to take off. You have $125 in month 3 for another set of Alpha3 passes, a 6-pack, plus the 3 that came back to you from the month before, from those that did not accept the invitation or did not sign into the AO scanner. So that gives you 9. Of those 9, 6 will accept. Of those 6, 2 will convert. That, on the average commission of those conversions, that's over a $586 commission to you. Think about that. In month 3, you now have 4 people on your team. If they're all QLAs, that's qualifying you in your first month for bronze. On your way to breaking that rank, we haven't even talked about the monthly renewal of their AO scan subscription on top of this. So the Alpha3 passes, what I'm trying to share with you is they are really showing to be a proven path for people to experience AO scan technology, to do something with it, and for you to actually convert in a positive way regarding your business, meaning you're going to make some money. You're going to make money from month 1 all the way on, as long as you keep that commitment to issue all of your passes that you have in your bank. Now, with that said, I think it's important to point out that the quality of the conversion, the quality of the experience of the new user really is dependent upon you. Your ability to share, your plan to share, your elevator speech sort of scenario. How would you talk about it? How do you talk about it? But then, how do you follow up? When you get notices from us that, hey, so-and-so has accepted their Alpha3 pass, do you check in with them? When you get the notice that they've completed their 72 hours on the Alpha3 pass, do you check in with them again to see if there's any questions? Are you sending videos with them to help them understand? If you talk to them about inner voice, did you send the video on how to use inner voice? Yeah, it's built into the scanner. It's in that question mark, that help menu. But you doing some of that legwork and helping handhold them through the experience really has proven, and we believe will prove, to be a greater ability to succeed in converting more people who accept your invitation to use the AO scan technology. So there's Alpha3 passes, a great addition and a great strategy to your business plan as you look to grow and build.
Okay, Kai, you talked a little bit about the Alpha3 passes today.
Yes.
So I think that's what we should do today.
Yeah, it's a
What do you
great
think?
giveaway.
Okay.
All right, a great time of year, falling into a new season, time to fall into some new habits. If you haven't used the Alpha3 Pass, hopefully I shared some things with you that might persuade you to use that as a part of your business. But what if we do this? What if we have people comment on this call? And I think this is a fun one, and we could have some fun with this. If you comment on this call, what do you do? What do you talk about in the AO scan technology to somebody new? Like, where do you start?
Yeah, that's right.
Do you start with inner voice? Do you talk about Cephi? What is your thing and why? And how have you found it useful? I think if we shared with each other the way we get into that. I mean, I've talked a lot about how I always start with inner voice when I talk to somebody, but everybody else can have their own version and why they do it. So,
well, and the thing is, we've even had people ask, how do I introduce these? And we've talked about it.
Yep.
But to hear your different, you that are in the field, your experiences with it helps everybody.
It is. It's a great help. So comment on the call. We'll draw 3 and we'll give you a 6-pack, 3 people 6-pack next week.
There you
Okay.
go. See ya.